I'm Andrea.
And I'm Stacy. And look what we have.
Not just one, but two
Two.
microphones. Yeah.
And we downloaded software and we got it to work. I'm so proud of us. This is huge.
We're tech savvy.
Yes, after watching a 2-minute video, 30
For
minutes
like
worth.
3 weeks. Yeah. For like 3 weeks we did it. Shiny cheeks again.
And Sophia's here.
Yeah.
Poor
It
Soph.
does look like she needs a trim.
She needs a barrette.
Oh, yeah. That'd be good. We can find her a little shower cap.
Oh, yes,
We'll
please.
adorn her.
No, a kerchief.
Yes. No one had more of those thin, like, sheer headscarves than my grandma Marilee.
Oh, really? And she wore them?
That was my Papa Dub's mom. And if she had one polyester suit, she had 100. We talked about that like on the very first episode.
Yeah,
I don't know if you remember that.
Pants from the oil there, just blowing out the top.
I was talking about how, she has all of them, but she had so many headscarves. Never went anywhere without a headscarf. And it would be like she'd be wearing a green outfit, like the lime green with the not white, but the off-white.
Yeah.
And then like a pink headscarf.
Nice.
So
very nice.
She was a very prim and proper lady.
Do you remember the rain caps? Granny had some, and it came in this little tiny thing. I think I have one somewhere. And
cool.
It looked like a little purse. This one was green, and it had little plastic flowers on top with a little gold handle. And probably copper or something. Yeah. And when you opened it, you pulled out this little wrapped up rain bonnet that you would undo and you could tie it. And I loved.
Was it clear?
Yes.
And then the edge of it was like a ribbon type material or something?
When if it was raining when we were down there, she'd let us. Well, she'd ask us to, but we could put one on to walk from the parsonage to the church for church, and then you'd hang them so they dry, and then you could just pop the ends and it would fold back up, and then you just I never could roll mine up right. She always could though. Mine was always too thick. But she'd stick it back in there and have it for next time. I don't think people would appreciate those today like I do. I don't think my hair would fit in.
We wouldn't take the time to use it.
I wouldn't take the time to ever use it a second time. Yeah.
We would just like covering our hair wouldn't be good enough. We'd have to run into like whatever store we were going in and make a big deal, shake off in the entryway, talk about how wet it is out there. Won't even dry our shoes off, just walk across the floor.
Ooh, the hallway at work about took me out last week. Yes.
The mat we had a lot of rain.
The mat was wet, and when I came in, I wiped my feet off. But boy, I like pulled some muscles I didn't know I had. I was so glad
to catch yourself. Yes. It's like,
have you ever stepped on a dryer sheet on a wood floor?
Yeah.
Lord. Or a plastic hanger that.
No, I haven't done the plastic hanger.
I don't know why this hanger was in the kitchen. Our laundry's in right off the kitchen, so I'm guessing that's. But I didn't know it was there, and I stepped on it and I rode it. If I would have yelled cowabunga, it would have been perfect. But I cleared off the counter because I couldn't stop, and it was just 1 foot. Like it's like I stepped on something, and it launched me into next year. Yes.
Trick hangering.
That didn't hurt me though. I broke some stuff, but it didn't hurt me.
Trick hangering.
The floor hurt me. That's when I knew I'm older than I
Pledge,
like to admit.
Overspray, wood floors. That could qualify as a skating rink. You almost need socks that are smooth on the bottom, but have rubber grips on the sides, so you can.
When I was at the hospital, they give you those gripper socks.
Yeah.
Well, they never stay on the bottom. So I was sliding down the hall because I was bored and supposed to be walking, and I was sliding. I was getting pretty good slides on by myself, dragging that thing, just like woo, sliding. It was holding me up. Well, I kind of like, I didn't run, but I walked really fast to slide really hard, and the sock rolled over and hit the gripper. We're lucky that everyone's alive because I about took the wall off.
your IV
the building.
pole,
Yeah.
like go ahead of you, rip out your IV.
As soon as I regained myself in my, you know, whatever that thing is they have you put on in my sweater, I looked directly at the camera and went, just in case somebody
Review that
saw
for later. It's in a hospital training video.
Yes.
What to do when you have a patient that won't comply. Setback, watch karma.
I don't know why I'm bleeding from all of my incisions. It just started. I think something's wrong. They review the tape. Yeah. That's like when I had
There's water on the floor.
which kid? I had Allison. And we were like on the 5th floor, and Jeff had left to go get himself some food. And I said, I felt good. You know, I was also on pain pills. And I said, while I feel good, I'm going to take advantage of it. And when I mean feel good, I mean felt good. And so I was going to take a shower, you know, because I knew it would hurt to do it everything I do at a hospital is super rough, even the normal stuff. And when I got out, I felt even better because it was really kicking in. And so I was like dancing because I felt good, because that's what I do when I feel good. But I wasn't dressed. And Jeff opened the door to me dancing naked in the room. And he was like, Stace, you're going to regret that later, like in an hour. And I'm like, oh. Yeah. And he walked behind me and he's just kind of giving me like the look, like, I can't believe you did that. And he closes the blind. And I went and opened the blind and looked out, and you could see in the other room across the way. And I thought, oh, Lord, I just put a show on for those people. Hopefully they're medicated.
Write a sign, next show at like 5 o'clock.
Send tips to room 305. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. I do stupid stuff like that all the time.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Those are the little moments that make life life.
They really are.
Can't really regret them. You just look back and go with it. It's like picking yourself up and dusting off.
Oh, I make sure everybody knows about it. I tell the stupidity over and over again.
With pride.
Yes.
With pride. I don't really have that. I do get embarrassed, but not like I should.
Yeah, same.
Like, I don't have that.
Yeah.
Debilitating, like, oh, I can't do this. People might see, watch, or hear.
Yes.
I don't have that. I should have that. But
after I do something, sometimes I think, I bet that made people uncomfortable.
But see, that's for me when I know I'm making people uncomfortable, that, like, it just motivates me to continue.
Yes. Just stand a little too close. Oh, goodness. Like when I was in California in the beach, when I took Allison there, and the wave did what it wanted to me in the worst kind of way. And I jumped up because I thought I had died, basically. So I jump up, and there's this guy like 10 feet from me, and he looks at me and goes like this. And I was like, that's weird. You know, like brushing my hair out of my face and picking seashells out. And I'm looking for Allison because she was kind of next to me when I last saw her before time and space stopped while I was underwater. And so I looked back at him to kind of look past him to see if she was over there. And he's like, and I'm like, what's up? You know, like, hey. And he finally goes and looks up, and I look down, and everything was exposed, and the poor guy was trying to help me out, like, to let me know that I'm, like, flashing the entire beach. I had no clue whatsoever.
It's no big deal.
But at least it was, like, in the water, out of the water, in the water, you know, so it wasn't like I was just standing there in all my clothes.
It's not like you came walking out. Like, oh, that was an experience, and everyone's like,
goodness.
So good. I think I flashed people once playing volleyball at the lake. I just had a top that just didn't fit right, and there was nothing I could do.
See,
I only brought one swimsuit, so
it's for everybody's enjoyment.
Yeah.
When I'm around volleyball, this is what happens. I can be 10 feet past the end of the court, minding my own business. And you'd think I'd stop minding my own business. This has happened to me so many times. I will hear, look out, look out, look out, like Dead Man's Curve, that song, right? And right when I go to turn, I always get it like right in the eye. And it's so hard that it leaves like imprints on my face. From He-Man himself on the other side of the net, who's looking at me like, I know exactly who hit it, and I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I attract balls. Can I say that?
That's great.
I don't know.
Is it Dead Man's Curve or is it Leader of the Pack? Because I hear
Leader
the
of the
girls
Pack.
screaming, look out, look out, look out. And then I felt so helpless. What could I do?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Dead Man's Curve is whenever his love died.
Yeah.
They're both sad, but Dead Man's Curve, if you actually listen to the
kind
words,
of a ballad.
Yeah.
Like it's
you should
pretty
look them
sad.
both up if you haven't heard them.
Those are great songs.
Leader of the Pack. Vroom, vroom, vroom.
True people died, but they're good songs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I always wondered what it would be like to, date the leader of the pack. That was a motorcycle pack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I realized I don't like motorcycles.
Or packs.
Yeah. Wolf packs. Backpacks.
Fanny packs.
We're going to get fanny packs.
Yeah, we are. $3,000
leader
coach of the pack.
Yeah.
We'll always stand on the wrong side of the pack leader.
That'd be great. Yeah. So much going through my head.
I know. I'm thinking of all those old songs right now. Like how great they are.
Yeah.
I should start sending Sully songs like that every time he sends me one of his songs.
Incorporate it somehow into his rap music and
like
stuff.
Here, look out, look out.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. No.
I like all the. Remember, what is it? Little Red Riding Hood.
Yes.
I love that song.
Little Red Riding Hood. I can't sing.
You sure are looking good. You're everything a big bad wolf would want.
Yeah.
How?
Oh! That was a sexy song.
I loved when that song came on. Then there was other songs.
Yeah, lots of other songs.
You hear the screeching out?
Yeah. It's been super active. I have hair and thread all over me. I'm on my third quilt for the same customer, and it's the memory quilt. Quilting? Yes, and I draw the quilts out on paper because I have to add in t-shirts, and then I have to add in every other row, every other block is a part of a scarf or bandana, but I don't have enough to do that this time, so I made it every fourth row. So you have to kind of lay it out. Well, I sewed a row wrong. I skipped a row, and so I had to pull it out, and so it covered me in thread.
Threads.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide if I should charge extra for all the hair I've been sewing into it. I kid you not. I laid it out today to look at the part I had done.
What's the $15 fee for insulated?
And I was like, oh my Lord.
Yeah.
It's bad. I'm shedding like a dog right now.
It's okay.
Spring. It's my spring
That's
coat.
a bad thing about curly hair. Everybody in your house knows it's you.
You know,
you can't pretend it's not.
You know how you sit in the same spot, and I sit sideways on the couch when nobody else is in there, and Allison sat down and she was like, held a hair up. And then she put her arm back down. She was like, ooh. And we looked at it where my head, if I'm laying on the couch,
She's
the
shedding.
arm. Yeah, it's bad.
She's
and
shedding.
It weaves into everything because it's barbed.
Yeah.
Barbed.
Towels. You ever go to pull one off a towel and it's this long, but it only looked that long, and you're like.
And then you add
how did
Turner's
it
hair
happen?
into that.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Hair's crazy.
Yeah.
Hairdressers talk about like hair splinters.
Yes, I didn't know that was a
like,
thing. For real.
ouch.
It kind of looks foggy in that window back there, and I don't know.
They said that
I guess it's just the
like
sun
late
setting.
tonight is our first chance of like a severe thunderstorm risk or something. Like, but like late, like I mean, 2, 3 in the morning. Like,
How did you like that thunderstorm we got this weekend? It was a lot of banging and.
it woke me up for a little bit, but I was so tired that night. I just went back to bed. I didn't have a problem, but it was loud. But I did wake up at 3 a.m.
Yeah,
always.
I did too that night. And we've had a stomach bug go through the house. Turner got sick, I want to say Thursday. Could have been, I really don't know. And he got sick that night after he went out to eat, and I thought it was food poisoning. I called and told you, like, I think Turner has food poisoning. And then
I really would have thought it was.
Yeah, because he just threw up, and then the next day he slept for hours and was fine.
Yeah.
Well, then Aurora gets it. She's at our house, and she's thrown up at her. I felt so bad for her. And then Jeff got it the next day, and then Allison got it at 5:30 the next day.
So it's truly a 24-hour.
Absolutely, like by the minute, 24
Obviously,
hour.
Jeff and Aurora got it from Turner, and then Allison got it from Jeff or Aurora.
Yeah.
Like, those things move through
I
quick.
didn't get it. I want to say yet,
That's
but
good.
I think I didn't get it.
No, I think
I tried to sanitize as much as I could
yeah.
because it swept through there like wildfire.
I'm being very slouchy.
And then he went to work today, and they asked him how he was feeling, and he said, food poisoning is no joke. And then I gave it to my dad, my girlfriend, and my sister. And that's not food poisoning. That's a 24-hour bug.
Yeah.
And he said they all kind of looked at me weird. And then I realized they probably didn't want me standing in their kitchen. And so I thought, well, they probably thought, it was something else and not that, because all the reports came out that...
Do you know a lot of times food poisoning comes from ice?
Oh, that doesn't surprise me. That when I was a kid, my first job was at Mazzio's Pizza, and the biggest thing they harped on during that time was not leaving the ice. When the health people would come, you get major deduction if you left the ice scoop in the ice machine, because people couldn't get to the big ice machine. We filled the one that you got your cup, but that guy, I asked him about it because I was curious. I was like, why does that matter? And he was like, because everybody touches it and you lay it on the ice and it gets in there. Yeah. And then it just stays there. So whatever, disease
it's true
that you can share.
But, we're also health conscious. That's why none of us ever
If we'd have left those dang scoops in the ice, nobody would be sick. We'd have already caught it all.
Yeah. But, in or out, isn't it the same concept?
Yeah, it is. I think so, because where they were laying it wasn't sanitary necessarily. It wasn't gross, but it wasn't sanitary. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not like they had a special tray or thing to stick it in. Like the candies.
A HEPA-sealed, box.
When you go to buy the candies in bulk, how they have a little place for the scoop to go? It's not like we had one of those even. Yeah. And if you look in the bottom of those...
Yeah, it's gross. It's gross.
Super gross.
Always a fly.
Always. Better than a roach, I guess. I don't know, but...
That's
Lord.
True. That's true.
I haven't been to Candyopolis in so long, but I love to go there and get... Is that what it's called, Candyopolis? I love to go there and get mints by the pound.
Those little spirally looking...
Yeah, no.
Chocolate.
My favorite. Yeah, chocolate, like the Andes type. And then I like to get the gummy worms. And I don't like chocolate, but I love those stupid chocolate rocks.
Really?
They look just like rocks, and they're tiny. They're bigger than fish rocks. How
cool. I guess, I never paid that much attention because when I was a kid and I'd go to the candy place, I only got the little spirally chocolate things. I loved those.
Yeah. And then I always try to buy something that I have no clue if I'm going to like it or not. not a pound of it or anything, but and at is it Okie Trading? What's the new place downtown? They have bulk candy, and they have sea salted caramels, and they have turtles.
That's cool.
And so I only buy like 3, because if I buy,
you'll eat them. Yeah, I would too.
Sea salted caramels are my favorite. And you know what I need to buy? I had no idea a conversation would go this way. Apparently, I sound like that little kid. Apparently, apparently it goes really fast. There's a salt that dissolves really quickly, and I guess you can put it on cookies. Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay. Carol bought some keto cookies from Alexander Eats, and they were chocolate chip, super moist, and they had salt on top, but the minute it hit your tongue, it dissolved. And she was telling me it was flake salt or something, but I don't know if that, I haven't looked it up.
So it's like shaved.
Yes.
So it's thin. And
yes.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to be adding that to everything I make now, like on top. That's macaroni and cheese, flake salt. I'm telling you, it added exactly the right. Now, they were keto cookies, and for keto cookies, I'm sure they were fantastic.
It kind of primes the taste buds, so you get the other flavors.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah. Because I don't want to say they taste like aspartame, or, sometimes you drink a diet something and it has that flavor. They were good, and I did eat 3 of them, so they weren't bad. But given my druthers, I just druther not.
If I want a cookie, I want a cookie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't know about research on diets and stuff. I'm not sold on anything.
Shoot, no. I tried to use a bread machine this weekend. You're just going to have to interrupt me because I'm on a roll.
The bread machine.
Yes.
I too have a bread machine.
I didn't have one. And I mentioned to Carol, I'm not really sure how it came up, but she brought me a bread machine she doesn't use, but she didn't have the book. So the first bread was with oil, and I don't like bread made with oil, but it made a perfect loaf, and it was edible. It wasn't butter and milk bread. It was water and oil bread. You know the difference. And then, sorry, the second one, I found a recipe that was butter and milk for a bread machine. And I just used the yeast that I had.
Yeah.
Smelled so good. Smelled better than the other one, oddly enough. And I went to peek in on it, and the whole middle had fallen in. But it was a lot better. So I think I'm getting closer. I'm going to have to modify it a little bit, or just try. But to make a loaf that size with like 3 cups of flour is way easier. Because when I make 2 loaves, and it's usually like 6 cups of flour. But I did find a recipe to make bread in your crock pot, and I may try that just to see how it turns out. But
it'd probably be good.
I guess.
Is it like a sourdough, or is it...
No, it's a wheat, but if you don't have enough wheat flour, then you can mix it with white flour. And they also have a flour called bread flour.
No, I got some of that. Yeah.
Okay, well, I didn't have bread flour, and seeing Walmart's out of everything right now, I didn't care to go see if they had any. So I looked up what's the difference between white flour and bread flour. I'm going to die over here.
Oh, no.
I read, I kid you not, 800 words before I got to the sentence that said, bread flour and white flour are the same thing. Bread flour just has more protein in it. I was so mad because the title of the post...
Do you know what that protein is?
No.
Gluten.
Oh, interesting.
It makes it more spongy.
Sure.
That's why it's like
it's
a high gluten.
Well, I like mine dense, so the white flour worked fine. Yeah. But it was so frustrating to have to read through all that, because it was like
the internet used to give you an answer. Now you have to read an article.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I just do that little search, like, what is it? I just do it F. I can't remember. You hit F something.
Oh, I don't know.
Or no, you hit Control F. I have to actually do it to remember. And you type in the word you're looking for, and it'll highlight it. another hair. On the pages, that word will be highlighted.
Oh, okay.
So sometimes if I'm searching something, I do that so I
Yeah.
don't have to read a whole article. I want to get
Hit
to
the
the spot.
keywords,
Yeah.
yeah. That is helpful.
Oh, something else I did. This is just a random thing. Turner has to use natural deodorant. So when I was at Walmart roaming around because it was the only socialization, not true. I go to work every day and my family's all at home, but the only stranger socialization I get. So I went up and down the beauty aisles looking for this, that, and the other, and they had a natural deodorant, which they're typically more expensive than regular deodorant, on sale for $1.50, and there were 3 there, but I only bought 1 because who knows if it'll work. I don't read it. I just see that it says natural on it, throw it in the buggy, get home, and I set all his crap that... Sorry, Turner. Turner breaks out a lot, so he has to have special things, and they're very
sensitive.
They're very expensive.
He's sensitive.
And so it was time to buy his crap, and I set it all in the bathroom, and I said, I got you some new deodorant to try. He opened it, and it was cedar. Smells just like a cedar-lined trunk. Or a tree. I mean, either way. And then he's like, I don't think I can wear that because it's so strong. So I wore it today. So I smelled like a cedar tree for the first couple of hours. Smell.
I love cedar, the sandalwood.
Oh yes, I like sandalwood.
Love that.
So don't, there's 2 more there if you want to try it, but yeah, cedar armpits. Yay. Never thought that about me, huh? With a light vanilla undertone because
you smell like a
my
Christmas tree. Fir, evergreen. It's all good.
It is.
I like tree smells.
Yeah, I do too. I like to take the needles and boil them.
Bradford pears stink a little bit, though.
Do they really?
Yeah.
I've never been around one.
I don't think it's like the whole time, but right after they bloom, when they have that little bit of like sappiness to the flowers, it's like one of those. You smell the sweet, and so for a second you think it smells good, and then you're like gagging.
Oh. Is it too sweet, or is it rank?
I think it's rank. I think it's like something spoiled. Spoiled smell, sort of. I haven't quite put my finger on it. It's probably, some phyto compound that'll make you live forever. I'm not sure. Some mysterious little, make a tea from it. Ooh, the link I sent you to that podcast talks about like the origins of like Rockabye Baby, like in the treetops.
Oh, when the bough breaks, the cradle will fall.
I won't, I won't drag our audience down that rabbit hole, but
I'm happy to go there.
It was interesting.
I'm gonna watch that tonight if everything works out, because I've tried to watch it 3 times now and it's just not been meant to be.
I got some gold hoops.
Ooh, I like them. Let me tell you my earring story. I'm full of stupid stories.
I gotta make sure I have 2 because I always lose one.
That's what my story was. I went all day at work with women, you women, wearing my hoops because I'm making it a point to wear them.
Yep.
I go to my car after work is over, and what's laying in the seat?
Your earring.
1 hoop, and not one customer, not one friend
Nobody tells you.
said anything.
You ask them, and they're like, oh, I didn't notice, because they see like you have them in, and then they're not sure if you do, and then they'll never mention it.
Never.
No.
Never.
Nope. I bought 1 pair. It's kind of like a spiral twist thing. It's like 2 pieces, and I really like them. But first time I wore them, like I was doing this, and then I was like, that one's gone, and then that one was still there. So I thought, I have lost an earring at a hotel in California. I've lost an earring on a plane to Vegas. I've lost an earring on a plane to Maine. I've lost an earring on a plane to Florida.
Wow.
Yeah. And like my good earrings.
Yeah,
like I'm sad.
Your traveling earrings.
Like 2 of them I still have because I just,
Oh.
Yeah. I thought I could do something with it. Like maybe a necklace.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't really wear necklaces. But, yeah, so the other ones, that's why
maybe you can make a brooch out of it.
Oh, I could do that.
I don't know what it looks like, but.
Yeah. So when I lost the one in California, which those were really some of my favorite ones, they were like just the right size because I like big earrings, and I was bummed. And so my other pair of go-to round big earrings, like the wood ones, medallions,
Yes, I
with the
like
little
those.
flakes in it, I
Yeah.
got that when we drove up the coast to. We decided to do that was a highway, that coastal highway, Highway 1 or whatever it is, where you go from California up to like Washington.
Oh,
We
yeah.
made it to Oregon, and then stopped at some like little Victorian type city, and then I found those in a gift shop, so I was excited.
I don't ever spend money on earrings. They're all like $12 and under because
That's
I
not a
lose
bad
them.
price. I mean, really.
I don't think it
like
is
that.
considering
I
I'm
think
throwing
I got
them
these
away.
at
Apparently.
Maurice's, and I think it was like 3 hoops on the thing, and it was $12, but it was buy one get one free. So I got these and the other ones that broke.
Bummer.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you guys do this weekend?
Oh, I thought you were asking them. I was like, are we doing that now? You know how like people read things?
Yeah.
Are we live? It was like this whole mental like conundrum. Just
I don't know. I was moving my mic. I'm so happy to have it.
I went to Wasso, saw my mom and brother's new house, helped mom paint a couple rooms, came home, um, ironed out some stuff, some changes with Dean, and then crawled into bed and thought, man, it was a long weekend.
Yeah.
That was my whole thing. But I got to see family, so that was fun. Nieces, nephews, always good.
And you like
Mom,
to
Dad.
paint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So-
painting the bedrooms. It's a lot of fun. I got to cover 2 different shades of obnoxious blue with a white.
Oh,
So
that felt good.
I always like that challenge, you know?
Yeah. How many
Letting
coats
it-
was that?
2. Like letting it dry that first night and then walking in the next day to see. And then when you're like, do the final coat knowing that the blue will be gone forever. It's gratifying in a weird way. I wanted to paint their den, but I didn't have enough time or paint.
I'm not that good at painting. You would have still seen blue somewhere.
Well, I mean, and it's inevitable, right? Let the sun shine the wrong way, or shadow, and it'll like illuminate it. It's all good. It's all good. It's just like the days are moving slow and fast at the same time.
It's weird, isn't it? It's at
This
work,
is 2020,
Mhm.
and we're at the end of March.
Yeah.
Spring it came. The equinox was on the 19th, March 19th.
I
or
want to
something
say
like
that's
that.
right.
Somewhere in there. It was kind of a weird day, and I don't even feel it. Like nature's out there doing its awesomeness, but at the same time, there's really not many leaves on trees.
Yes. No spring leaves, and I even got my greenhouse started late, so they're all just tiny little sprouts. My daffodils came up, and only one in that front curved row bloomed. And then at the little library, one came up, and there's like 4 blooms on it this morning I saw. So it's like doing its thing, but it's doing it different.
It's a change of pace. Something's been altered. Something's off kilt or whatever.
Yeah.
Haven't put my finger on it, but I mean, you can feel it. I swear I'm not going to go down any weird roads tonight, but you know what I mean. It's different out there, folks.
It really is. Especially when you factor in everything that's happening in the world right now.
Yeah.
It's just bizarro.
But, you know, it is bizarre, but there's so much stuff going on while that's going on that no one's like earthquakes. There was another city that's in quarantine, and I forget where it was, and they just had a major earthquake, like the kind that brings down buildings.
Yes, I saw that.
And then that volcano is erupting, and then
there was an earthquake here.
I have to give a shout out to one of my favorite internet
yes,
people.
do.
Mr. MBB333, the Earth Watchman, is that what he calls himself?
Yeah.
I think I've got to get his t-shirt, and I'll wear it proudly. But kudos to you for like, piecing that stuff together and sharing everybody's videos or photos around.
He literally just kind of watches.
There's all kinds available to the public, cameras and equipment. Like you have access to like the Mesonet or like the thing that monitors earthquake. Like the National Science Foundation releases that data like to the public if it's accurate. I mean, and then there's like satellite cameras that allow you to watch different things, and that's what he does. He like stays on top of all these things. He's able to piece together patterns and anomalies and things that are just out of the norm. People send him information, but he's been doing it for so long, it's just like he can read that data, and he remembers like it was like this 3 years ago and this happened after that, like he monitors like tsunami buoys like on the ocean,
and he recognized consistencies and inconsistencies.
Space satellite images like the International Space Station. Like he knows he has he obviously likes what he does, but his little videos he puts together are great. And remember the one about the earthquake in Salt Lake City?
Yeah, that was weird. 5.7 earthquake
in Salt Lake City.
Millions of people, not millions, thousands of people without
billions
electric.
of people.
Millions, trillions,
because if we do anything, we accurately report inaccurately.
Yes, that's right.
We're accurately inaccurate.
Yes.
Yes. So after trillions of people in Salt Lake City,
I think it was 150,000 were without electricity.
Yeah, a large number.
Yeah.
It put a dent, but it was around the temple. That's why I keep doing this.
Yes.
The temple, because all temples are square.
But what happened at the temple?
There's a statue on top of it of Moroni, the
Who is
angel.
That?
All due respect, y'all. It's their angel. And it is holding a trumpet.
That looks like a golf tee in the shape of, it's like a long with the flared out end.
Is it blowing it? I think it was because it's raised.
Yeah, or it's about to.
Yeah, maybe it's.
Hasn't been given the signal yet.
Anyways, this spear-like trumpet, it's not there anymore. Temple shook, statue shook, trumpet falls.
But the temple and the statue are fine.
It's weird.
And I haven't looked. I was going to look this weekend and see if they found the trumpet, if it impaled someone, if it is stuck in this. I don't know. Where did it go? I haven't Googled that yet.
Some people get hit in the head by volleyballs. Some people get impaled by falling trumpets. I just think it's weird that it would fall out of a cast statue if it was a cast statue. Or
Yeah,
not,
I'm curious
like,
how it
why
was
was
made
that a
too.
two-piece statue?
Yeah. Especially when I looked at the hands, they're kind of just like this, so it would have been set in there. They would have secured it because you wouldn't have wanted to have to put it back in. So.
Interesting.
Curiouser and curiouser. I gotta Google that though and see where the trumpet landed, or if it did. It may still be.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I thought it was odd, but yeah, Mr. MVB 333. You're gonna have to explain to me where you got your name at some point, because I have looked for that on his site and I can't come up with it.
Is it a location or something?
Maybe
some weird.
I don't know.
Thing that you would have to know when, about to understand it.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's pretty cool. But yeah, I gotta get one of those shirts. I like that.
Yeah.
He put some other ones up. But he does a cool thing where if you take a picture of a cloud or your sky, or I say those because that's what people really send them.
Like
they send them on other things. He will put it at the end, some interesting ones, and he always says this was sent in by so and so from this person on this day.
They're all unusual things that you normally.
It's really
like.
Nice see.
You sent me one where it was the sky was split right down the middle with darkness and light. Yeah. It was weird.
And he knows all the technical stuff for that, So if it's something that is a known thing, he'll be very quick to point that out.
Yeah.
Not leave you hanging.
Right.
But if he doesn't know, he says, "Hey, I don't know," and that means he's got a wealth of knowledge and he doesn't know.
Yeah.
So it's what is that?
What is it?
It's cool. Clacy.
Yes. Andrea. I don't know. I can't think of a quick name.
Stacy takes pictures sometimes of the storm clouds.
Yeah.
We'll send them back and forth.
Yeah.
I find mine during the daytime, like just weird stuff when I'm out and about. She likes to take hers like during storms, and we've seen the same cloud more than once.
Yeah.
Around the same location.
Oh.
And then again, when someone sends it into him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I was coming home from Norman to Chickasha, and I called Andrea and was like, oh my goodness, see if you can see the log cloud. This cloud was a rectangle with like this little thing on top, and it looked like if it was a log. It was the only way I could explain it, but it had corners on it.
Yeah.
And Allison was with me, and she was like, that's not natural. That was like four hard corners. And I tried to take a picture of it, but we were driving down the highway and just couldn't get a good shot of it. And so I explained it to you. You couldn't really see it because you would be looking we would be looking at each other. So you watched Mr. MBB like that next night, and people had sent pictures in from like that area of the rectangle cloud, rectangle cloud. And I was like, oh my goodness, that's exactly what it was. It was bizarro.
It's strange. You know, I mean, shapes happen, but they usually have an organic flow. To see something geometric and to line that out, I mean, with symmetry.
I told Allison their cloak wasn't working properly that day.
It's the truth. It's the truth. They're out there, y'all.
They are.
Oh, stuff's out there, but I don't believe in aliens.
No.
Well, I guess aliens in the sense that a non-human entity.
Like a UFO is an unidentified.
I said entity.
Oh, I did miss it. There's this guy we saw.
Trey.
Yeah,
Smith?
Trey Smith.
Or something? I might be wrong with
one
that.
One of us fell down a rabbit hole somewhere, and Trey Smith was at the bottom of it. And he always
fell down a rabbit
he has
hole.
a
Stacy lures you down there full of carrots.
He has a monitor behind him, and he sits in front of it and does his podcast like this.
But when it's intense, he turns.
Yeah, he sideways looking at this, and then he'll turn and say something. But he's always says the word entities, and it cracks me up. And he always points like, I don't know. It's just funny.
Yep. I like his interviews, though.
Yeah,
cracks
me too.
Me up, man. He's cool.
Yeah.
That's some good insight, I think, because he's just so honest about everything.
He doesn't have anything to lose.
Yeah.
I haven't watched him in a couple of years, I guess. Yeah. It's weird how you watch something all the time, and then all of a sudden you just don't watch it anymore. It must have opened up to another rabbit hole.
It's a season.
It is.
You know, I feel like everything's a season, and I think if you stay in one spot too long, that's where it gets dangerous.
Yeah, you get stagnant.
You know,
yeah.
That's where I've seen people that, you know, they'll come across some information, and then it's like not enough for them.
Yeah.
And so they keep trying to find out more and more about the topic, and then it's not really there.
Yeah.
But then they'll stretch everything and make it
connect.
Like,
yeah. And it doesn't.
It's bizarre, and then you kind of lose them, and it's sad.
I'm really bad about, I hear a word, and I think, I don't think I've heard that word, or I don't think they've used it properly. And so I'll Google that word and come to find out it's a new word, or it meant something. And that's how I end up down my rabbit holes.
Yeah.
Or looking up names of something. They'll mention a person, place, or thing, and I'll Google that to see more about it. Like, that's how I found that Georgia
stone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you start researching that, because they mentioned the stones in Georgia, like I was supposed to know what that was. So I start Googling that, and I'm like, oh my goodness, what in the world?
It's just weird stuff.
What out of this world?
It's weird stuff out there.
For sure.
I can't imagine, you know, really, we talk about a lot of times everybody focuses on up.
Yeah.
But nobody focuses on underneath.
Yeah.
So for everything that's, you know, catches your eye, glint and glimmer in the sky, there's rumblings.
Yeah, and I'm always curious what's in the ocean, because we've always tried to fly and get higher and see what's in outer space.
Because there's nothing really limiting your field of view other than distance up there, right? I mean, nothing. It's open. It's the wide open space.
You can see in front of you. And then in the ocean, the pressure of I don't know what you would build that could hold that pressure. I'm amazed at all the little submersibles that they have.
Across magnetic trenches. What did I send you anything about that?
You don't mean volcano?
No, like off the coast of New Zealand, which is in the Ring of Fire. You know, New Zealand recently had a volcano eruption that was devastating. There are, I think I was researching the poles, like North Pole, South Pole, and how if you are imagining a globe, they indicate that the North Pole is this region, right? Geographic North Pole, and then the geographic South Pole is Antarctica. Well, erroneously, we talk about pole shifting, right? It's not that the Earth is tilting. This is how they're describing it. I'm leading to my story.
Okay.
The poles are shifting. The geographical poles, the physical location. But the magnetic pole, they don't go anywhere. The magnetic poles, which is when you take a compass out and it pulls in one direction north or one direction south, depending on which hemisphere you're in, those are kind of offset, like from the geographical pole. This is how science explains it. Science is, the
best guess scenario.
The best fraud of our time. So, but I'm back here. These are my magnetic poles. Okay. Again. So that'll pull a compass, right? And they talk about pole shifting. Well, these never quite stay in the same place. There's fluctuation in the magnetic thing because as they explain it, they being scientists, they say that it's to do with magma, molten magma, lava rock, and the surface underneath that moves around. It's fluid, right? So I imagine like that bubble in a level thing.
Yes.
It's always trapped in there, but it kind of moves.
Yeah.
But goes nowhere. That's how they describe the poles. But that being said, there's trenches, really deep trenches that we've never been to the bottom of. And I always thought the Mariana Trench was the deepest trench in the ocean. That's actually just the deepest trench that we've been into.
Oh, okay.
I guess.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Coastline, deep trench. Like, not too far off if you're, like, looking from a satellite. It's, like, this much. I don't know what that is.
Just a little
like,
bit. Hop, skip, and a jump, and you're in a trench.
It has its own magnetic pull, and when aircraft flies over it, like the Bermuda Triangle and different things, there's a magnetic force pull at the bottom of that trench, and it messes like with the airplane navigation equipment. And there's another one. There's several of them out there, but I was reading about that one, and they still don't know what causes that. This may have been a Mr. MBB video. I don't think it was, but I don't know. I watch a lot of clips. Take a clip trip. So it's weird. There's a force that emanates, not like to the left or to the right.
It just spins.
Yeah, it's like just in this
the
trench.
Compass. Yeah. It just jumps all over the place. So it's not pulling it. What that would tell me, because I'm not a scientist, is so you have north and south. So the compass, depending on what hemisphere you're in, points that way. So if you've seen it in movies where it just spins around because it doesn't know what to do. I wonder if the plane were headed towards it, if it would just point south or north. Because I wonder if it's so deep that it just confuses it. What happens when you hold a compass? Okay, so let's say you hold a compass
like this.
Yes, for it to face. But what happens when you hold a compass up like this? What does it do?
I don't know.
I've
actually never owned a compass.
I own a couple because I think they're cool, but I've never held it up like that. Like they're vintage compasses.
Like a real... We'll have to do that experiment.
I don't think they're cool because they're usable. I think they look cool. That's why I bought them. I don't use a compass.
She does too. That's how she finds her way to work every day. I'm just saying, if we were ever lost and you had to rely on me for navigation
These are facts.
with compass or sans compass, we would be going in circles.
Yeah, these are facts.
So we might as well just not move and stay where we're at.
You've driven to my house for years, and just now will you turn on the right road?
Yeah.
You usually
it finally
drive,
became a habit.
You usually drive a road past it.
Yeah. Do you know why? My mind does not visually map.
Oh.
I'm not a visual mapper. I don't notice things.
I knew that about you, but I never equated it to missing turns and stuff. I
don't remember faces. It takes a long time for me to recognize somebody by sight.
I'm hyper
unless there's
visual
a distinctive feature that triggers something. But no, I think that's why I don't mind drawing faces, because I'm not really trying to draw the face. I just draw what I see, which is not really the complete
interesting
thing. Yeah.
I'm exact opposite.
My mind is right, left, 1, 2, 3. You know, like
Yes.
I'm more, I guess, logistical.
Uh-huh.
But I'm still not good. I mean, I'm not actually. My mind's probably nothing as far as direction. But yeah, it's strange.
Yeah,
I wish I had a better ability to recall.
I don't get lost very often, unless I like sleep in the car and then wake up. Might take me a minute to figure out where we are, like on vacation or something if we're driving somewhere. But when we moved around a lot as a kid, I would sit at the table with my dad and uncle, and they would have the map and the atlases and all folded out, and they would have a ruler because, that measured the miles, and they would figure out where the gas stations were and how far apart they were and where they'd have to stop and if we were to sleep somewhere. And pre-internet, of course.
Actually planned a trip.
Yes. And so I knew on the map we were here and we would be going like this. And I would know like the highway number. And then Mo and Dad, after they figured it all out, they'd take a piece of paper and it would say, like 150 left, 100 right, whatever the miles were and which way to turn. And then, because they could actually, they could actually measure accurately with a ruler on the map. And they might have a highway number down, and then Mo would just like stick that in his bra. No, I'm just kidding. I just stuck my hand in mine, but in his pocket, and that's how we would get places. And so I always had a feel for that. But I'm so stinking visual. If I'm in a place very long, I can get us back to where we started for sure.
Yeah.
Might not be able to find a new place.
Once I've been like Memphis, New Orleans, Albuquerque, Santa Fe, places I frequent, they're in my head. I can get back to where I went.
Yeah.
Now, I can't tell you what street or turn it was by a right turn by the Walgreens. I can't do that, but I could physically get myself to that location. Usually it's just like sensory for me. I feel like I should go this way, or it seems like this is familiar. I don't. The last time I navigated by map, I was in the passenger seat, and we're leaving Stillwater, and we were going to go to Grove. Well, there's Grove, and then there's Locust Grove. Locust Grove was beautiful that time of year. Ended up in Arkansas anyway, so we went to Eureka Springs. It was a bonus trip, so what does it matter?
It doesn't.
Yeah.
As long as you have gas, it doesn't matter. That's fantastic.
Yeah, so if we take this podcast on the road, we can end up anywhere.
We literally have and could. The time we went to the Black Mesa and ended up in Colorado for a ways before we realized that we were in Colorado. Yeah. Like everything on my phone registered that we were in Colorado. That's how I knew that we had made it into Colorado. kept driving around the thing that we could not see that we were looking
Tell
for.
them what the mesas are.
Go ahead.
Okay, so Oklahoma is a very interesting state. Yes, all states are. I'm not trying to say Oklahoma is better than yours. I'm not like touting it, but I am saying a lot of people, if they know anything about Oklahoma, I would think that they associate it with like the Native American population.
Yes, and that it's flat.
They see flat, they see grasses, they see horseback, they see teepees, like that. Well, like all states, we have a variety in our terrain. We have the prairies, and we love prairies.
Yes.
They're gorgeous. They're probably the one of the most underappreciated,
Habitats.
Out
They're
there.
They're beautiful.
Well, so we also have 3 mountain ranges, and no, they're not Rocky Mountain High.
No.
Colorado, John Denver, sidetracked back onto it.
That's how we drive on trips.
We also have the Sahara Desert.
Yeah.
It's not the Sahara
little
Desert. We call it the Little Sahara.
It's white sands. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And you can take excellent photographs there.
And then, of course, we have tree areas like
Forest.
hills.
It's where we group our trees together.
It's great.
All I can think is parallel forest.
We have lakes. So we also have mesa. What a mesa is, I'm still not clear. I've Googled it a few times.
Me too.
Mesa, plateau. It's just something tall and flat.
Mm-hmm.
But now all around, there's mesas and stuff. Well, we went up there. It's in the panhandle of our state, kind of in the Colorado, New Mexico, Oklahoma meets area.
Yes.
And
near Jet, where the salt crystals are.
Yeah. And you see them when you're driving. It looks like a rock formation, but they're always kind of wider at the base, and they kind of come up, and they're distinctly organically shaped.
Like a tree trunk.
That is what they are. I know it. Prehistoric trees were huge, and by prehistoric, I only think they're just like 5,000-6,000 years old. So for me, like 5,000-6,000 years ago, there were giant trees. And then giant people cut them down.
Yep, because they're flat on top.
And where the tree goes, what everyone says. Well, what do you cut a tree down for? To like make a fire? To build a structure? I mean, of course they cut the tree down and utilized it.
It's like you've had this conversation before.
Yeah. I don't know with who. I only talked to like 3 people. I don't get out much. Coronavirus or not, I've been quarantined for like 7, going on 8 years. Anyway, they're giant trees. Yeah, I don't have the research. Yeah, I'm not going to refer you to any videos, and every expert will disagree. I don't care. I call it what I see it.
And they're black on top.
Do you remember that one guy that did the aerial thing and it shows the landscape and it looks like the fronds of evergreens that have been sprawled across the landscape?
That was beautiful and very intriguing at the same time.
Let's just stop trying to make excuses for everything. That's what science is. Man-made explanations for natural occurring events. We have to, I feel like we always have to make sense of it with our minds, but if you just look in, you know what you're dealing with.
Yeah. I also feel like if you don't agree with what they printed in a book or put on the internet, then you're the odd man out when some of it makes sense that they say, but some of it I question.
It only makes sense if everything lines up.
Right.
And a lot of it is presumed unproven fact.
Yes.
To come to the conclusion that they're already saying is fact.
Yeah.
I don't get that.
Yeah. So it's like if the ground is wet outside, you assumed it rained, but you don't realize that maybe your husband washed the car before you went out there, and that's why the ground is wet. And you don't realize that just beyond that, it's dry. You didn't
because you didn't take a step farther. Because you're just trying to,
I question everything naturally anyway, so I always question stuff. And not that I don't believe some of it, and there's a lot of it I don't believe, but it's not because I was taught anything or a religion that I believe. It's not anything like that. It's because I've questioned it and I don't have a good enough answer based off of some of those facts.
And
not that I have the answer. I'm just saying
I get it.
that things are taken out of context, I feel like.
What it is, too, we don't like the history that was given us.
No.
We don't like the things that our ancestors left behind to explain what was going on when they were alive and we weren't. We're not happy with the very old manuscripts that give us an explanation of what the world was like. We have to rewrite it with today's facts and knowledge, and I use that term loosely, to go back and retrofit our presumed facts and make it adapt. And if something doesn't fit, we just say they were superstitious, they were dumb, they didn't know what they were talking about. Never mind all the great feats that were accomplished.
Yeah, and things that were built and done. It'd be like finding,
but they were dumb.
Your great-grandmother's diary and her saying that she was upset about something and just saying, well, she must have just been depressed. Or, but she was truly upset over something, or trying to change what she literally wrote to fit what you had been told about her.
Yeah.
From a skewed point of view from someone else in the family.
We can't go back in time, but yet now we can analyze people's thoughts and actions of those times.
Yeah.
So I'm saying when it shows on a cave painting, little bitty men fighting really big men, I'm going to say that's what happened.
Yeah, because obviously they can draw a small man and they can draw a big man and know the difference.
Yeah.
And they would make them all the same size if they were. Yeah. They're not saying that they were a mighty army by drawing one big man, because you've got like 5 or 6 little guys.
They're emphasizing the importance of the people by making them larger.
No.
Well, no.
No, they're showing that they're actually a different size.
They're big men. They're That's right. Little swords, big swords. Yeah. Wow, how'd we get off on that?
I don't know.
We just lost all of our follower.
That's okay.
We have no.
That's okay.
No, it is okay.
I'm not doing this for anybody but us, so whoever jumps on this rabbit hole can just enjoy the ride with us.
That's right. Besides, we have some important research to get to tonight.
We do?
Mysterious water sounds.
Yes. I started that earlier and found nothing. Yeah. So I've got to get creative in my Google phrasing. I got to think about how someone else would put it out there.
Maybe
to be able to
pull
find
out
it.
the entity book.
No, I don't like that book.
What if there's a really great graphic? One of these days we'll actually have to explain ourselves to people.
I don't feel like
Or if they just keep watching, they'll
figure it out. I think if somebody wants to know and wants to ask a legitimate question, I'll be happy to have that phone call.
Yeah.
But,
yeah,
I'm not worried about it.
Well,
we're at an hour.
The 2 microphones, man.
Yeah, let's hope they record it.
We are moving up.
We are. And maybe next time we'll have a table and like a stand. I don't know.
We could do it. You guys could actually see something other than the Christmas lights still up across the road. All right. I'm going to reach for the button.
Yay. See you guys later.
See you guys.
Bye.